El Planeta Rock, Radioactiva 97.9 desde el Festival Estéreo Picnic. Un placer tener con nosotros a Isaac the Modest Mouse. Isaac, welcome to Radioactiva, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Very fine. First time in Colombia. How do you like it so far?
So far, so good. I mean, I'm going to be realistic. I've seen an airport, a hotel, and a drive to the venue. So I'd be lying if I actually said I had a grasp of it.
But that usually happens on tours, right?
That's how it is.
Yeah. I know.
I go home with like next to no actual stories of like seeing anywhere. You know, like maybe I find a few hours to get out, but you know.
But I guess it's fair to ask, like, do you have any expectations? You've never been to Colombia before.
I don't have any expectations.
No? Just want to get there and play.
Yeah.
The Golden Casket was a big record here, you know that?
I actually had no idea.
Yeah. We played it actually in Radioactiva. We had a single, we worked perfectly. So we're really happy to have you here, even though you usually guys take like some time before releasing a record, right? It's usually like 7 years or something.
It's not supposed to be that way. It just has been working out that way. We're already more than halfway done with the record right now, so
cool.
That one will go quicker. But yeah, no, I didn't realize anyone knew about the Golden Casket here, because years ago I promised myself, I was like, I'm just not going to pay attention to how this shit does, because otherwise it'll start clouding my mind.
Okay, you know? Does that affect like your
it
writing
might.
process?
I'd rather not let it, so I just kind of I try and ignore it, you know.
I actually remember listening to the record during the pandemic. You know, it hit us also here pretty hard. And sometimes, you know, us journalists, we overthink things. And I remember the title, Golden Casket, and I said, like, what does this mean? Does it mean anything? Like,
sure.
What's the story there?
It's kind of, I don't want to dumb it down too much by explaining it.
Okay.
But it's sort of the premise that, you know, like, how do you say this? Living your life for your death, you know?
Okay.
And it's as good as gold when you're dead.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, it's just that the single we picked from the record was We Are Between. So getting from the idea of a golden casket to We Are Between, and of course understanding that English is not our native tongue, so we usually go with the feeling that the songs gives us, or the lyrics, you know, like what we feel through the records. So that was interesting, going through an album called Golden Casket and getting into We Are Between, since we were in lockdown.
Right. Well, it's also, that's conceptually the same thing. We're just, you know, we're always between here, somewhere, you know, life and death, somewhere and somewhere else. We're always in between. We're always off to the side. We're always in between. Yeah. And things.
Where did you get like your lyrics? I've always thought that Lyrically Modest Mouse has an analysis or something, a different perspective than different bands. Since the very beginning, the first single in Colombia, which was of course Float On.
I kind of shut myself down. The part of me that does that might over filter. I just try and shut down daily Isaac, and allow my subconscious to do most of the talking, and then once it's there on paper, I'm like, okay, the filter part of my brain, you know, let's say the more left hand side of the brain gets to go at it and say, well, this is fucking stupid. You should try harder.
Okay.
Left brain doesn't understand what the hell you're saying. Maybe tighten that up.
Okay, yeah, it's like getting back into that material after that shutting down?
Well, the last record what I started doing is stuff called hemisphere syncing, where you sync both hemispheres of your brain using tones. Wow. I'm not sure if it helped, but I sure like doing it.
Tell me a bit more about that. I've never heard that.
Okay, so it was developed, I guess, by these people called the Monroe Institute, and eventually the CIA ended up using it for like whatever witchcraft they're up to and things, but basically using different tones. It's sort of like binaural tones, but the right ones actually makes it so both sides of your brain start functioning at the same time. Rather, usually it's flipping between one or the other.
Wow.
But it's called hemisync.
Okay.
HEMISYNC.
In my life, I've never heard about that. I've never heard about that. It sounds interesting to apply it creatively.
Are you familiar with the concept of remote viewing?
No, well.
So that was something. That's why the CIA got into it,
Uh-huh.
and the Russians. This is like some Cold War shit.
Okay.
They both were doing this, where they had people who could actually, like, they had one guy who shut down like equipment that was like under severe lockdown, like should have been shielded with his mind. They'd also like they could figure out like locations of things.
Okay.
If they get called, if there's like a crash and they need to find the fuselage or some part of it, they'll get a hold of these people. The U.S. government, the military still uses them. They used them to find a type of butterfly that they thought was extinct.
Huh.
Anyways, in order to do that, thinking both hemispheres of your brain are part of it.
And then how do you like translate that whole process to the rest of the band to record
I don't
a
know.
record?
I'm not very good at it.
Well, you clearly are.
I've practiced a bit.
Yeah, but you know, it's been 30 years since the band began. A bit more, right?
Yeah, something like that.
How do you feel like about it? You ever thought that you were
Surprised when
reaching
I
a
hear
30th anniversary?
You know, time moves pretty funny, as I'm sure you're aware. I still feel like the middle of my life, and there's some science behind this, is like my early 20s. No matter, and it turns out when you're 80, the middle of your life still feels like your 20s. And shit, it's because the way brains treat time, and it just starts kind of like shrinking it for you. So, motherfucker. But anyways, yes, I'm very surprised when I hear that we've been a band for 30 years, because it still feels like we're in about the 15-year mark and things.
No, but man, congratulations, because it's been a long road and we're still enjoying your records. Not only because of Float On, which was of course a huge here also in Latin America, but like songs like Dashboard, or I just mentioned about the Golden Casket. People really like the record, so it's going to be great to have you finally here in Colombia performing for the first time.
Real cool, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I don't want to take much of your time. Maybe you have the chance to enjoy a bit of Colombia, at least here in the backstage.
I think I'm here for 2 days now.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I've got 2 days to kind of figure out what the fuck I'm doing.
Okay.
Wait, am I swearing too much for your radio?
No,
here?
it doesn't.
Okay.
This is going to be on video, so it doesn't matter. You can say whatever you want.
Okay.
Is there anything you would like to say?
You know, I'm not the ad things guy.
Cool.
When it comes to
Okay.
conversations.
Well, great, man. Thank you very much. It's been great
Thank
having
you.
you with us in Radioacktiva.
All right.
Okay, thank you.